Number 3. Caleb Samuels. In close proximity to where I live in Branson, Missouri, there lies an abandoned amusement park named Celebration City. After closing in 2008, it has been vacant for more than 10 years. America throughout the 20th century served as the inspiration. It was open from the afternoon until the evening, with a laser and fireworks show capping off each working day. The park's operating season, which ran from May until mid-September, had a variety of rides, performances, and attractions. When it closed, my family and I were all upset to learn that most, if not all, of the roller coasters had been demolished. I had visited that place with my family on numerous occasions when I was a little child. However, the majority of the structure is still standing today. And little known fact, it's now kind of a really great area to explore. Loki, my friend Calvin, whom I'll refer to as Calvin, was quite supportive of my plan to visit the location. Because he's a family friend and our families have previously visited the park together, I asked him. We arrived by car and parked across the street in the Steak and the Shake lot. Since the theme park's parking lot was visibly closed off and had been for a very long time, it was just after 7 p.m. The sun was going down. We didn't want to go during the day since we were worried about being seen or meeting other people. When it would get dark, we brought a few powerful flashlights. We were able to see absolutely fine in the interim. To avoid being seen as trespassers in the park, we initially ran across the street when no one was looking. We carved into the grass and into the park's surrounding trees while no cars were approaching. Surprisingly simple to enter the park. In actuality, we didn't even feel like we were intruding on anyone. Not that I advocate trespassing at all, it was extremely unsettling to see all the historic structures and landmarks that I could see still in this now chilly and deserted area. It seems as though a piece of my childhood has died. Though we were the only people in this location, that was much certain. There is only the sound of crickets. Even the outside traffic was too quiet for us to hear. We became aware of how much had been left behind as we moved around. Writings and occasional graffiti on the wall indicated that people had been present after it closed, although many props and other items were still in situ or concealed by glass and structures. However, several of the structures had glass that was broken, showing that some had been broken into and explored. We made the decision to enter one of the buildings through one of these windows as it grew darker. Once inside, we discovered it to be the former Last Chance Diner. It was undoubtedly unsettling dark inside. The entranceway was covered, locked, and shuttered. Unusual wood boards, and I suppose other miscellaneous trash and stuff were scattered throughout the dining area. The only way I could characterize it was that it appeared to be used for storage and that items from outside were brought inside. Calvin was exploring the opposite side of the building. I'm checking out the restroom and I shouted to him, then I went to one of the restrooms. There were all 3 stalls in the area, and as soon as I entered one of them, there was a sound like something very small had been dropped to the floor. The scent in this area was peculiar and difficult to describe. I greeted you. In this completely dark environment, I was using my flashlight. Even though the 3 stall doors were shut, something was making noise within. I used my foot to hold open the restroom door, then kneeled down and pointed the flashlight beneath one of the stalls, where I saw a pair of shoes and legs. I started and gasped before noticing the same thing under the other 2 stalls. 3 pairs of shoes and legs could be seen underneath the cubicle doors, and one of them started to move as if getting on their knees to peek underneath. I didn't stay long enough to see their face though. Calling for Calvin to leave had already exited the bathroom. He didn't ask questions until we were outside and away from that building as I climbed back out of the window. I informed him of the 3 individuals using the restrooms. He joked, but I couldn't tell he wasn't fully convinced I was telling the truth. I tried to describe the strange sight to him better and I informed him one of them was about to look under the stall. His look shifted to one that was more horrified. We were obviously not alone there. And if there had been just 3 friendly people exploring but only using the restroom, I feel like they would have said something as I entered or at the very least after I said hello inside. It was practically pitch black by the time we left the park and returned to the car. Since then, we haven't been back. I don't know how to explain what I observed. It was strange and unsettling, and it undoubtedly changed the tone of the otherwise enjoyable day. Number 2, Anonymous. My mother received 2 of the 5 homes that my father owned after their divorce. We had homes or have had homes pretty much everywhere because my dad operates a very successful real estate business. I really just stay wherever I want because I'm only 23. But now that I'm closer to my mother, I frequently stay at one of her homes. I was living alone at the main house during one of my numerous weeks that my mother was staying at our beach house. I am accustomed to spending the majority of my time alone in the house. The layout of the main house includes an upstairs kitchen, living room, and 2 bedrooms, followed by an identical layout on the first level and a basement. The stairs is where I sleep. My mom uses the downstairs for herself, while I primarily utilize the kitchen and living area up there. It is a good setup. The home features a side entrance, a back entrance, and 3 front entrances. The side door leads outside to the area with the trash cans and other items. When putting out the trash, I generally do so through that door. The narrative actually starts when I became aware that many of my clothes were missing. Whether my mom wasn't home, I would call her and inquire if she had taken anything out of my laundry baskets whenever this occurred. She would typically answer no, because our floors in the house are different. But even during the 2 weeks I spent spending a lot of time at home alone, I began to notice that some of my favorite clothes were missing. Even after searching through every time in my chaotic, normally room, I was unable to locate many specific items of clothes. It was illogical. I even resorted to looking in my car in my mom's room downstairs. Nothing. I imagined that one of my friends might have taken my clothes for whatever reason, or more likely, that several of my pals might have done so. I simply left it there. I keep the door slightly ajar while I'm alone so I can hear if, God forbid, someone tries to break in. I was using my laptop to view a movie when my bedroom door shut unexpectedly. It didn't slam, but it also didn't close very lightly. I assumed it might be a trot because I had both windows open and the ceiling fan on. It does occur occasionally, but then I heard something coming from the hallway below my bedroom outside. I didn't really react the way most individuals would at home by themselves. I jumped out of bed, sprinted to the door, and unlocked it. It was dark in the hallway. I turned it on and moved in that direction to the living room. Furthermore, there was no one on the couch or anything dreadful like that. However, I wasn't yet content. I visited my mother's levels downstairs and took around her rooms, kitchen and living room. But then I realized that the cellar door was jarred. Right at the top of the steps is the basement's light switch. You pull a string to release it. I descended into the basement, which was largely empty. The only things down there are a couch, a TV, some exercise equipment, and a little space with a punching bag. There are also 4 doors that go to the closets, as well as a smaller door that you must stop inside to enter a tiny closet that resembles a crawl space. My mother and I hardly ever go down there. Through my peripheral vision, I make a cut. The crawl space closet's tiny doors made a slight movement. My heart literally stopped beating, yet I made a tiny bit of progress when an arm emerged from the small closet's darkness and gently closed the door. I froze, and suddenly felt as though my heart had also just stopped. I retreated up the stairs quickly and stealthily, really wishing to go and leave this house. As soon as I woke up, I dialed 911 and reported that a stranger was inside my home. Please God, when I emerged from the basement, I kept quiet and didn't reveal that I had seen the police arrive with their lights on, but not their sirens. I descended into the basement, which was largely empty. The only things down there are a couch, a TV, some exercise equipment, and a little space with a punching bag. There are also 4 doors that go to the closets, as well as a smaller door that you must stop inside to enter a tiny closet that resembles a crawl space. My mother and I hardly ever go down there. Through my peripheral vision, I make a cut. The crawl space closet's tiny doors made a slight movement. My heart literally stopped beating, yet I made a tiny bit of progress. Needless to say, neither my mother nor I wanted any of the attire that obnoxious jerk wore. I'm to fault since I probably forgot to lock the side door one night after putting out the trash. I got the message. Abolish the doors. It's important to remember that an unlocked door could allow someone to enter your home at any time and even live there. Number 1. Mike Gutwenger. In middle school, we went on a field trip to a marsh near our community. It was for some sort of marine life study in our science lesson. I can't even recall. All I can recall is that we were assigned to take notes on specific items we could see via our binoculars while working in teams of 2. Jordan, my best buddy, and I were matched. He and I had decided to sneak away and pursue our own interests, so we were trailing the group. We turned around on the walk and took a different route after our instructor, Miss Stern, and the other 2 teachers who were traveling with us were sufficiently removed. The entire salt marsh was basically a sprawling network of wooden bridges constructed over wetlands. We were so young, and the journey was so mind-numbingly boring that we couldn't take the task any longer. We took the deviant walkaway that we weren't supposed to go in order to investigate. "If you don't work for the town, don't go down this route," read the large sign that was displayed there. What did we do as a result? We naturally took this route. Because there was so much extremely high grass everywhere, neither the teachers nor the other kids could see us. We continued to walk till we came upon a little building the size of a shed with a sign on the entrance that said, "Do not enter." The doorknob was locked when we tested it, so we moved on. We began to realize this area was absolutely enormous and a veritable maze the more we walked and turned. We eventually came to the conclusion that it was time to rejoin the group because we weren't really having any more fun alone than we would have with them. In addition, we didn't want to get caught because it was getting late and we had been gone for a while. So we started returning in the direction we believed to be correct. But after seemingly taking wrong turn after wrong turn, we finally acknowledged to be lost to one another. Now that I had lost all the sense of direction, it was obvious that day was coming to an end. Although panic had not yet taken a hold, we were undoubtedly concerned. We wasted time trying to figure out how to get back to where we started. We looked for that tiny building we had just passed as confirmation that we were heading in the correct way, but we were unsuccessful. We couldn't see much because of the tall, marshy swamp grass that was higher than us. There was no way our class and professors could have stayed there, and here, as the sun was already lowering. Prior to the widespread use of cell phones, especially among middle schools, this was the case. Since we had no method to call for assistance, we held back from yelling until the sun had nearly set and panic had begun to set in. It appeared we weren't alone all of a sudden. Jordan and I first heard someone strolling through the water that was probably knee-high when we heard splashing noises in the area. The splashing was still there, increasing louder and closer when we stopped again to listen as we continued to move more quickly along the wooden road. We had no flashlights. The moon was our only source of illumination. We were aware of our company. Someone might have been lurking in the dense grass and secretly watching us. Jordan had a moment and walked to the grass where the splashing was coming from, pushed a few of the enormous chunks to the side, and then cried like a small child. Although I didn't need to, I didn't see what he did. I followed him closely as he ran down the sidewalk until we both had to pause to collect our breath. He said he saw someone lurking in the grass, but I knew that before he even said that. We continued to run, passing occasionally to gather our breath, until we could hear a helicopter overhead. It was flying overhead and had a searchlight on. I don't know if it helped, but we started waving our hands in the air. And soon, the spotlight found us and stayed on us. Because we were young children, we anticipated that the helicopter would descend and take us up. We were therefore perplexed when it simply hovered there. However, what they were actually doing was indicating to the police search team that had come looking for us where we were. After our parents informed the school that we had not returned from home, a number of police officers eventually located us and took us back to safety. We informed them that someone was lurking in the swamp, obviously stalking us. Evidently, Miss Stern either miscounted the number of people riding the bus back to school or she didn't take a head count at all, because none of us were on the buses. In either case, she made a serious mistake. I'm also amazed she wasn't let go. The most terrifying night of my life was without a doubt this one. It also occurred when I was quite little. That's it for today, guys. What do you think about the video? Please share with us in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell icon for more incredible videos.